Name's Sherman, height's 5'6", weigh about 200 pounds on average. Fluctuates between 195, 205, depends on the day.
You haven't competed for your show, but you're a bodybuilder. How long have you been doing it, and how did you get involved with bodybuilding?
Oh, started bodybuilding 2012, technically. For the first few years before that, basically kind of started having kids, wanted to get back in shape after letting things go after high school. And then I wanted to take it more serious, so decided to do a show so that way I would have that consistency, down pat, the dedication. So I did my first men's physique show in 2013 and just kind of stuck after that.
Put on a lot of size on it.
Yeah.
You don't look like a men's physique competitor nowadays.
Nope, I was 158 pounds for the night before that first men's physique show, and my back looked like absolute shit. Like, I haven't done like a comparison back-wise in a long time, but like if people were to scroll back far enough on my Instagram, you can see some like, especially when I was actually going hard at competing, like when I was planning on competing again, like see just those differences. There's a lot of mass added there.
So that would have been like, you said you were 176?
Well, in 2014, I did a photo shoot with Arsenic Photo in Canada, because like my bodybuilding coach is in Toronto. And like I was 170 there, so from 2013 to 2014, I think I did the photo shoot in May, so pretty much a year, just barely over a year apart. Went from the 158 to 170.
Now with your, go ahead and talk a little bit about your style of training, bud, and how you incorporate your normal, more normal training as opposed to with the calisthenics, how that's working out for you and how you came to do that program, I guess.
Well, over the years, bodybuilding-wise, like I've tailored even the bodybuilding program quite a bit. Like I used to be much more strength-oriented. There was times that I even had my incline bench. I think like even when I was doing like the max stuff, I had my incline bench up to like 440 some pounds for an incline. And since I'm a smaller statued person, it's pretty decent. But I kind of slowly switched, especially because of my bodybuilding coach, styles more on the side of using the physics aspect of things, which a lot of people don't tend to incorporate. That's just like even when because I'll occasionally do online coaching, I don't know it a lot, but I try to get people to understand, while yes, there's a select standard for form, you still have to adjust it to what your body structure needs. And like a lot of people don't understand that, slight small variations can make all the difference. So I've kind of tailored things over the years. I use a lot more like the machines and the cables now when I'm doing a more bodybuilding focused workout than I do free weights. I almost never use dumbbells, honestly. And over the years, I've actually learned I superset almost everything. It'll keep my workout a lot quicker, like more compact together. And for me, because I don't usually have someone to work out with or a spotter, it allows me to actually exhaust the muscle tissue more, as long as you superset correctly. A lot of people do it wrong. Like you still have to hit the same muscle group in the same way. Doing opposite muscle groups, it contradicts each other. But yeah, you do a lot of supersets. And then the last few months, because I don't plan on competing really ever again, I've switched it to starting to add in a lot more calisthenics training, some gymnastic style training. That way I can get back mobility that I lost over the years, and then just have that get back that natural athletic strength, coordination, balance, all that stuff in, add to the longevity of life instead of just beating myself down all the time.
When it's not really, but it's kind of like a functional training, almost like
a lot more, yeah. Like, I mean, bodybuilding and powerlifting definitely have probably more of their functional aspects than people realize that they do. But yeah, in your most daily life, you're not gonna sit there and, especially even like we'll take deadlift for example. You're not gonna pick something up in the manner of, the bar being right in front of you. Doing an Atlas stone version of it would be more of a functional version in that aspect, because that would be the way you're gonna actually lift something from the ground like a box or anything. So throwing in the calisthenics and everything, yeah, it's a lot more functional. It's, for some, they would probably say that it's bad on the joints, but it's not. It's it's making those ligaments and everything work in a manner that they're supposed to work, supposed to be used, without taxing them, with heavy compound movements, or even just heavy in general.
It's not jarring.
No.
Or like high impact. It's very smooth.
No, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Like it, when you're first getting started, it's going to be a little clumsy and stuff, but yeah, like it's a much smoother, controlled aspect. So it's going to create healthier joints, versus just that, like you said, the jarring, high impact version on it that just tears things apart. So.
So you've been doing like 2 months. How long do you think you really get a feel for it? But how more natural for you?
It probably took about 4 or 5 weeks to really start fully getting like that more natural aspect of it. So it's been about 2 months that I've been going at it like consistently. Before that, I would still throw it in every now and then, and then for at least a couple months would throw it in every now and then as I was starting to kind of break into it. And then before, years ago, maybe once every few months, I would randomly throw in like some kind of handstand thing, or like not exactly a planche, but like certain tuck holds or stuff like that, just because for whatever reason I've always naturally liked to do that stuff. I just never focused on it because the bodybuilding was more the goal. But now, I don't know, now I feel like I'm finally actually getting comfortable enough to do random crazy things.
And it's, even though it's different from like standard lifting stuff, you feel like it maintains your body and everything well enough.
Oh yeah, it definitely maintains, especially because I still do the other lifts. Like I still do a normal leg day. Some weeks I'll still split up and do like a chest day and do a back day. A lot of weeks I'll do chest and back together. Like I'll go through my whole chest and then I'll go through my whole back. Not as rigorous as it would be for bodybuilding. Like I'll do a lot less things, but I'll still hit a little bit heavier and hit the isolation movements. And I'll go through, but I don't need to do as much because with doing the calisthenics and the gymnastic stuff, I'm doing a lot of pull-ups, I'm doing a lot of push-ups, I'm doing, the certain tuck holds and everything that it's still taxing, your lats and your shoulders and your delts and your chest and everything in a manner to fit with your core too. So it's still holding. Yeah.
Stuff that you wouldn't do if you're sitting down.
Right.
Machine is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Do you do cardio on it all or not really?
Nope, I hate cardio. I absolutely hate cardio. Hey, if I were to have like a really big photo shoot coming up, then I'll throw in some cardio aspects there. My version of doing that has always been slow and steady. Like I'll do the low intensity, slow and steady kind of thing. So I'll walk on a treadmill, just put it on an incline walk or even on a Stairmaster and just keep it nice and slow and do it for a longer period of time. Yeah, it keeps you in the gym a little bit longer, but that's because I do it after I work out. I burn up all the sugars, carbs, all the junk you're supposed to burn during the lift portion of it for the energy, and then as long as you keep it slow and steady, then you can kind of keep at that fat aspect versus just beating yourself up even more.
Yeah, definitely. What's your diet like? Do you have to stay pretty clean, or do you kind of go? Have you ever pajamas and you can't do whatever you want? Or?
I eat like shit most of the time. For the most part, I'm still pretty decent. Like, my breakfast will vary depending on what I'm doing for the day, whether it's some kind of shake. Like, for me, I'm lactose intolerant, so I'll use Fairlife milk. It gives a little more protein than it doesn't have lactose, so I don't get bothered that way. I'll usually use a plant-based protein powder now because, again, whey you up if you're lactose intolerant. So I use a plant-based protein or like the collagen proteins to mix in there with it. And then I'll usually add like some peanut butter or some Greek yogurt, stuff like that in there. Or I'll just have eggs and shit like that in the morning too. Otherwise, I used to make a joke for a little while because I've gotten into anime recently quite a bit. So people have asked me what my diet was, and I wasn't lying because I do eat a lot of noodles now. So I'll just make a joke and say I just eat ramen a lot. But I've done it long enough, and I've done a lot of things when it's came to like macro-based programs versus completely rigid, that I've just naturally learned what my body can and can't do. So while there's days that I do overindulge, or there's days that I definitely eat more more on the junkier side. I'm not overeating either. So it's still the basis of calories in versus calories out. Well, some days may not necessarily be the most nutritious side of it. I'm not really hurting my body as much because the macro base is still there. Like I'm still getting the protein, I'm still getting the carbs, and still getting the fats. They may not be the cleanest, but they're there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, awesome, man. It was great working with you, and we'll definitely catch up later this year. Give you some more time to work on the calisthenics.
Right.
You'll be doing even crazier stuff, I'm sure.
That's the plan.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations, and we'll talk.